Right, thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Nation newspaper. The major headline here says 2023, Wike rejects Atiku. Rivers governor vows not to campaign for PDP standard bearer, inaugurates council for Rivers party candidates. Rivers governor vows not to campaign for PDP standard bearer, inaugurates council for Rivers party candidates. You find all of the details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To the Leadership newspaper now. Finally, Atiku-Wike reconciliation collapses. Rivers governor says he won't campaign for ex-VP, nominate Amaechi loyalists, 16 others as commissioners. Atiku suspends campaign, visits states ravaged by flood today. Again, Tinubu hits PDP flag bearer, accuses him of plagiarizing President Muhammadu Buhari's agenda. You find a lot of the details on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. We move now to the Blueprint. Kanu, a security risk, freedom will harm nation. Kanu, a security risk, freedom will harm nation. The federal government speaking there. No, you've no more reason to hold him in detention. Ozekome, that was a counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, also speaking, saying, no, you have no reason to hold him in detention. Now, court reserves judgment in federal government's request for stay of judgment. Appeals court reserves judgment in federal government's request for stay of judgment. You find all of the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. To the First News newspaper now. Flying red flag, Nigeria will disintegrate if APC wins 2023 presidential poll. Governor Obaseki speaking there says anyone who votes for APC again should have his head examined. Let obedience be, they'll soon run out of steam. Governor Obaseki speaking there. For all the details, First News newspaper, the front page, you'll find the details there. We'll move now to the Daily Times. 2023, Nigeria will break up if APC wins. Governor Obaseki speaking says nobody has done the kind of damage APC has done in Nigeria. Supporters of ex-Anambra governor will soon run out of steam. I love the details on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Punch newspaper. U.S. terror alert. Atiku Tinubu Obi demand security beef up, rejects campaign suspension. Atiku Tinubu Obi demand security beef up, reject campaign suspension. All right, you find details on the front page of the Punch newspaper. To the front page of the Daily Trust now. Troops nab Boko Haram kingpins in Abuja. Tight security at government offices in satellite towns. FCTA orders CCTV in public places. Residents ask government to be proactive. You find the details on the front page of the Daily Trust. To this Nigeria newspaper now. National Assembly can't stop corruption, economic sabotage. Lawan speaking. Ex-Speaker Bankole laments 99% yearly budget encourages looting. Ex-Speaker Bankole laments 99% yearly budget encourages looting. The details on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper. To Nigeria News Direct now. 2022 floods. Nigeria face food, fuel scarcity over bad roads, submerged farms, stakeholders. 2022 floods. Nigeria face food, fuel scarcity over bad roads, submerged farms, stakeholders speaking there. To the Business Day now, rice seen hitting 50,000 naira per bag as floods ravage farms. Rice seen hitting 50,000 naira per bag as floods ravage farms. Details on the front page of the Business Day. And finally, on the front page of the Gulf News newspaper, Sunak is next UK Prime Minister. History beckons new Conservative Party chief as Britain's first leader of colour. History beckons new Conservative Party chief as Britain's first leader of colour. All right. So let's dig into the papers now, Sam. And I'd like for us to look at this story, talking about the final collapse of, perhaps the final collapse of every attempt to reconcile the PDP presidential candidate in person of Atiku Abubakar and Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. Just yesterday, he declared that he will not campaign for the presidential candidate of his party because when he was inaugurating the campaign council in the state, that's the person of Atiku now, when he was inaugurating the campaign council in his state, he did not consult him, Nyesom Wike, in the state. For him, that's some level of disrespect.
It was stepping on the holy ground of Rivers PDP, according to Wike, and he cannot be forgiven for that. But you know, people who have been thinking that there will be some form of reconciliation between the two fellows have been a little too optimistic, because Wike has shown from all his rhetoric and from his dramatics and from his body language that you know, it's like what the South African poet said. He said, "East is east, west is west, never the twain shall meet." Wike is Wike, Atiku is Atiku, never the twain shall meet. So most of them have been irreconcilable from the beginning, because Atiku had said that he was not going to interfere with the party structure, with the party executive. And Wike said that there was a basic inequity in the composition of that executive. And that if the protocol in the party said you cannot have a presidential candidate and the party chairman from the same zone in the country, it only made sense that that was tweaked. But Wike himself knew that it was calling for some kind of earthquake. and Atiku was not ready for a kind of earthquake. But Atiku created the situation where Wike would call for an earthquake.
Right.
Because he knew that they had a Northern Party chairman in the person of Iyorchia Ayu when he was running. And then the argument was that if he emerged as the presidential flag bearer, the Northern man, who is the party chairman, will have to step down. Now, if the Northern man steps down, it meant that it will affect the whole geopolitical integrity of the executive, because it means that you have to change the secretary, you have to change the financial secretary, the treasurer, you have to change everything, you tweak everything. They knew all of this going into the primaries. So who is fooling whom? So it was obvious that they are going to come to this pass, but they expected that they will have a pliant Wike. Now, the problem was that they annoyed the wrong person.
Right.
In the primaries, they did a juggle of votes, and it was clear from Wike's point of view that Wike was on the path of victory before Tambuwa gave his votes to Atiku. So he sees conspiracy here. So if, according to him, there's a conspiracy there, then we have to go back to the drawing board. And the drawing board is, we have to remove the party chairman. And they say, and this man says, it takes a very, it's being hypocritical, that's Atiku. It's being hypocritical. He was now saying that it was difficult to change the law, to change the structure. But when he was running, it was not difficult. He said, oh, everything should be open and everything will be fine. He wanted to ride roughshod like a mafioso, you know. But this man said, I'm here, we'll get to it. Now, there have been a lot of drama. They meet here today, they meet there tomorrow. The reconciliation maybe is possible. Well, I've always said on this show that I didn't see the way out of this because they were what you call ineluctable points from both sides that you could not extricate the party from. Ego was on the way.
That's it.
Ethnic principle was on the way.
That's it.
Regional principle was on the way. So how do you get past it? He has been able to get some governors on his side. Makinde, Autumn, Ikpeazu, they're on the side. Even
although we don't know if we are on their side at this point with this decision not to campaign for.
They have not said it.
They have not said.
How do you move from fighting them to say, okay, we are going to campaign for you? It's going to be hard. And even if they say they want to campaign for him, it's going to be half-hearted. They are going to be seen as enemies in the bloc. Or, as some people say,
and they wouldn't want to do that to a person of Wike.
Would they want to turn their backs on Wike? That's another point. Would they want to turn their backs on Wike? Wike has been the drummer. You know, he used to have a short story in those days, a small novel used to read. Tunde the Drummer Boy.
Yeah.
Tunde the Drummer Boy, something like that. So he's the one beating the drum, and he's also the one dancing, and the one singing.
And
Wike is a full orchestra.
Right.
You know, and there's this particular song, as they sweet us,
they pain them, as they pain them, they sweet us.
And then he knows how to dance, and then he does all the dramatics.
But there are those who think he's taking things too far, that he should put the interest of the party above everything else.
No, the question is, do you follow principle or you follow expediency? Now, the point is, what is the expediency? Now, even the governor of Akwa Ibom State, the chairman of the campaign council, he said that people should learn to adapt to agreement. And he said that, and then he talked about, when they're talking about the law, he also said that, I think he was quoting Apostle Paul when he said that all things are lawful, but
not all things are expedient.
Exactly. So in other words, we cannot destroy the system because of law, because the law, even the Bible itself says the law is not a schoolmaster, but a shadow of things to come. In other words, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. So you don't become too rigid about the law. No, the law itself will become of no effect.
Yes.
Because you use the law. The law was, we made the laws. You know, the American used to say, the American founding father, John Adams, used to say that we are a nation of laws and not of men. But, you know, men make the laws. So the laws are important because of men. Because when there are no men, there are no laws. You know, when there are no men, there are no laws. There's this short story by the Russian writer Chekhov, in which somebody walked into a place and the only animals in the community. He couldn't fit in. He couldn't fit into the community because you need men to run the community. You cannot have a society of animals.
All right, let's see how things pan out moving forward. Perhaps Atiku might stretch a hand of reconciliation.
It's too late.
Again. Perhaps it's too late. But let's see how
it's going to be like a leprous hand.